Welcome back to The Guru and the Good Dude. I am Tim Warlow, the Guru, and today we have a good dude with us, Savion Harris. And Savion and I met actually through our last guest, Nolan, just a couple weeks ago. And you had a really interesting story. Nolan has vouched for you big time and said, you know, your history and where you were and where you have gone from there is an awesome arc. And so I'm excited to hear about it because we don't know each other that well. A lot of times I have guys on the podcast that I've known for a while and dig into what I already know they're doing. So you're going to have to be real open and tell us everything. But the way this podcast works is we have you tell your story wherever you want to start. Typically people start where they grew up and carry it on to where you are today. And so for you, Savion, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, but I'd love to hear your story, starting with who you are, what you do today, and where you started.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, man. I was really looking forward to it. I'm from Sacramento, California, where the best football players are from.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's a bold claim here in Texas, man. I don't know.
Yeah. We have the ballers over there, man. So I came from Sacramento. I grew up in a town called Roseville, California, Roseville, Rockland, but I went to school in like the hood of Sacramento. So my dad is a football coach. He's been a football coach for all my life, and then a high school teacher. And then my mom is also blue collar. She served in the military for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So luckily we didn't have to move. I grew up in Sacramento, but I was born in Virginia. So when I was 3, that's when we made the move to California. Was raised there my whole life.
So did y'all move with your mom like base to base? Was she career military?
Yeah, so she was Air Force, so she started in Langley.
Okay.
And then she moved to Beale Air Force Base right outside of Sacramento when I was about 3 years old.
Okay.
So grew up there. I played football. My older brother, he was one of the best athletes to ever come out of Sacramento. He was ranked like best football player in the entire United States.
Wow.
So it was kind of big shoes to fill. I looked up to him, growing up. He was my biggest role model.
What position did he play?
He played everything, quarterback coming in, and then he played running back, safety, and then he went to college to play linebacker.
Both sides of the ball. Oh, and then he played linebacker.
Yeah, so actually in college he played running back and linebacker.
What?
Yeah. So he was one of the few to do it. He won one of the awards that Christian McCaffrey won, but I don't remember what it was called. So
what school did he go to?
Washington. Yeah, Washington. So he was a real deal, and it was kind of just big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
He's my role model. He's still my best friend today. But really, with that being said, all that was planned for me, plan A, there was no plan B, was to make it to NFL, be just like my older brother. I'd wear the same number as him. I'd have the same gear. And so that was really my goals growing up. And,
And how much older was he than you?
So he's 31, so he's about 4 years older. Okay. So when he was leaving high school, I was coming in.
Yeah.
He was even drafted in baseball. He was even drafted in baseball by the Red Sox. Yeah, he was drafted in baseball by the Red Sox, and he went like 0 for 31. They said darker the skin, tighter the spins. I think it was like 31 strikeouts, but yeah, but he was just someone I always look up to. So my best friends played in the NFL. A lot of my teammates played in the NFL. So that was just what was next for me.
So you really did. I mean, when you say best players coming out of Sacramento, you had a pretty good peer group.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I went to 2A Comfort. Okay. Comfort High School, about an hour north of here. And when I was a freshman, the senior class had 3 guys who went to D1 schools. Actually, 4 guys who went to D1 schools from a 2A school, which is like pretty good. And 3 of them went on to play in the NFL.
Really?
So I didn't
know that.
Our class only had 70 guys, and their class went to state semifinals, and my class went to state semifinals.
Okay.
I got the shit kicked out of me. I was an inside receiver, and I actually quit my senior year because of this. But my junior year, on a kickoff, I got blindsided by this all-state linebacker who was just out, and we were losing bad. It was like 90-30, man. We were never
90-30.
No,
crazy.
I think the final score was like 65-35. It wasn't good though.
Yeah.
And we had such a good season, but yeah, I'm just trotting down the field already, kind of defeated, and I just I wake up like 4 hours later.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I quit football.
Yeah.
We lost the game and I got a concussion. So,
yeah.
But to your point, we also had really great football players
Right,
and,
right.
you know, a good program. So I know what that kind of pressure is like too.
Yeah.
So you're surrounded by all these good guys. They make it their career. So you want to follow in their footsteps.
Yeah. It's just like, you know, it's like there was no other choice. And then even with my dad, he was like, you know, I'm not paying for school.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, I have to go to college. Right. So, and for football, because truthfully, I didn't really like football growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really like football growing up. I don't think I started loving football until I was in college because there was just that much pressure on me.
Yeah.
Like it was a bad day if I had a bad game.
Oh, sure.
When I think it's supposed to be, you know, it's a game at the end of the day. It's supposed to be fun. Right. So anyways, out of high school, I went to FAU. I played for Coach Kiffin. And then I bounced back and went to junior college. And that was probably the most humbling experience of my life when it came to sports.
Yeah.
Because I was in Iowa, Fort Dodge, Iowa, where it was nothing but cornfields. I made some great friends, but it was just a humbling experience. You go from making a stipend to nice facilities to like 5 people in a 2-bedroom apartment or dorm.
This is pre-NIL though, right?
Pre-NIL.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was 100% before NIL.
Yeah.
So I went to Iowa, and then I started getting a whole bunch of offers, and I ended up going to UTSA.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds.
Wait, so who was your coach at the time?
Frank Wilson.
I sold him his house. I
Yeah.
think I told you that.
Yeah.
I sold him his house, and then I sold it when he left. And yeah, I love Frank, man.
I love Coach Wilson, man. He was a good dude, and he's I don't know if you know about fraternity life, but he was an Omega, and that's the same as my dad.
Okay.
So there's a lot of similarities in him and my father.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, the backgrounds, they both pledged, and when you're a part of that fraternity life, there's a lot of similarities.
I don't know much about fraternity life.
Yeah,
but
they're crazy. Those guys are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I just saw yesterday like 10 kids at what school was it? Oh man, A&M or somewhere. 10 kids wound up in the hospital with rhabdomyolysis.
Oh, wow.
You know what rhabdo is?
No, I have no
It's
idea.
where you
It sounds crazy though.
Yeah, so it happens to CrossFitters a lot, but what happens is if you go long enough, like work out long enough or do any kind of like physical activity long enough without eating or drinking water, the only thing left in your body is muscle, and your kidneys don't process muscle breakdown well, and so you can get kidney failure from it, and that's like the biggest factor with people. So during one of the fraternity pledge hazing rituals, they were making these kids do like 300, 400, 500 like air squats. They had them running, they had them doing all this stuff, and they didn't get any water, didn't get anything. So like, I think there was something like 30 kids in this group, and 10 of them wound up in the hospital. So they're under a lot of scrutiny.
Wow. Yeah. There's a lot of scrutiny when it comes to those hazing things.
Yeah.
I mean, they all say we're not going to haze,
Yeah.
but we all know they're doing
So
it.
were you in a fraternity?
I wasn't. I was going to pledge, but I was in college during COVID.
Oh yeah.
And then again, I want to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
So I was hyper and laser focused on that.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, looking back in retrospect, like I should have made more out of college for myself, but I was just so focused on making it to NFL that I really didn't want anything else in my way.
Yeah.
When I thought that, again, now thinking back on it, it's probably the wrong way of thinking, but that's just what it was. And they were banned off the yard because of hazing at the time.
But you're singularly focused on this thing. Like
Yeah.
fraternity could just be a distraction for you.
It could, but I think it's just a brotherhood, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think my brother may end up pledging. My brother goes to school at Dartmouth.
Oh.
And so,
Let's drop that.
Yeah. So, yeah, but he, he talks about it all the time. And, him and my dad are probably the closest out of all of us. And it seems like he just wants to be just like my dad. So I think he's probably going to end up doing it.
Well, I think Dartmouth has the coolest sounding college name, honestly.
Is it? Yeah.
I wanted to go there. I knew nothing about it. I was like, it just sounds cool.
Yeah. Well, I also, out of high school, I was going to go to Columbia. But you know what? Like I didn't like New York City.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like New York City. And then I ended up living there last year. And I found that New York City is the best city in America to me.
Really?
So,
You think that?
I honestly think that. Without a doubt.
So I'm torn because my girlfriend loves New York City. If we ever want to go somewhere, it's always like top of her list.
Yeah.
We've been a couple times, but I've been several times, spent a little bit of time there. I am so like about New York City, and maybe I just haven't had the experience living there, having that. But in terms of vacationing and stuff. I'm like, I can't see the sky. I'm already getting depressed. Like you're underground like a fucking rat. Like I can't imagine living there in my shoebox.
Yeah.
Leaving that and going, and like nobody talks to each other. They just like, the only people that talk are homeless people.
So I have a few things on that. So it's a couple things. So first, I don't like New York City as a tourist.
Yeah.
Living there is completely different.
Sure.
For a couple reasons. One, for the energy, the hustle and bustle. So like I'll go into the city for a meeting at, let's say, 8 a.m. to meet someone for whatever, breakfast or whatever it is. And you can see probably partners at law firms riding on the train, probably people working, investment bankers. And then you could also see, someone kind of cleaning the building, whatever it is. It's the energy of it, right? And it's like in that it's very equal.
Well, it is crazy. Like I didn't meet. I saw like who's Fergie? What band is that? What group is that?
Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
Coming out of the club at like 2 a.m. I see them, and then the next time I go, I meet Charles Barkley, and at the same time, I'm like shaking hands and taking pictures with Charles Barkley. I see like Spike Lee walking by.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
crazy.
This place is nuts, man.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's like then you'll be on the road, and it's just the energy. It's just horns. Everyone's honking at each other, and then you'll see like people crossing the road, cussing out the bus driver. It's like you just sit there and smile. It's like this is a completely different pace of life.
Yeah, and everybody's in their own. Yeah. They're all doing their own thing. I used to feel like Austin was kind of like this, where everybody you meet is like on a mission.
Yes.
Where they're like, I'm gonna become this. Yep. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
And then there's the people who's like, they've generationally lived in New York, and they're like, it's just life at that point, just like everywhere else. But so many people are there on a mission. And so I get it. That intensity, you don't find that anywhere else.
You don't. And it's work hard, play hard over there.
Yeah.
Right? So like, I don't know, man. It's just, it's the complete energy, and there's always something to do. You could go to a bowling alley and they have a concert in the back.
Right.
You could go to a comedy show at 2 a.m. And it's like there's just always something to do, and I love the city, man. I appreciate it for what it is.
Maybe I'll have to.
There's just stuff that you got to find. Like you'll go through a restaurant, through the kitchen, down in the basement, and then it's a huge club.
Oh yeah.
It's like, where am I at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you don't get that in San Antonio. It's like each place is its own like. It's like an establishment, right? But you can clearly see it from the outside.
Yeah.
You have to actually find and know where to go in New York.
That's true. So everything is underground.
Yeah.
Like literally not just the subways and like the life,
Yeah.
but the things that you're trying to do, the people are like gathering where you wouldn't even know they're there.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, no, 100%.
If you're not looking for it.
You don't even know they're in that building.
Or if you don't know somebody who knows somebody who's showing you the way.
Exactly. Yeah. You're like, dude, you're taking me in a taco shop. Like, no, don't worry. We just got to go down these flight of steps. It's a club.
Yeah.
But like in college, when I was taking my visit to Columbia, right, the facility was like 30 minutes from the university, right? And then it was like the year before they were 0-10. So I'm like, okay, like
you didn't want to go in and change that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was just different, man. I had a different mindset. But now looking back, even with my little brother, I was like, hey, dude, we don't need the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? Like the NFL is great. And if you have, the talents to do that, perfectly fine. Right. But why don't we use our talents to take us somewhere that we can't typically go? And so for him, I was like, I told him when he was a junior in high school, I was like, dude, you should go to an Ivy League school. I wish I would have done that. Right. And so let alone, a senior year he gets an offer from Dartmouth.
Are you saying because you saw the reality, which is getting to the NFL is like nearly impossible. I mean, like the amount of talent at that 100%. Level is so crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you go back, a few episodes ago in my podcast, I had a buddy on. His name's Cole Wick. He played in the NFL. He played for like 3 or 4 different teams. He's huge.
Yeah.
I would not want to get hit by that guy. I mean, he's like 6'7", 230, 100% muscle. Like just. And his hands are this big. I mean, like,
what did he play? Tight end or something?
He actually played tight end. Yeah, he played tight end.
That's a tight end build.
Yes, his first season. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't play for like New England. He is white, so it makes sense.
Gronk 2.0.
Yeah, he would have been, but he said he played college ball, And he was the only person from UIW to ever get recruited to the NFL.
Oh, so he went UIW.
He was at UIW, yeah, here in San Antonio. I think he's one of maybe 2 people that played in the NFL after. And the first snap he took, he said he got hit so hard, his whole mindset changed. He was just like, it's going to be like this every snap of the ball for the rest of my career. So he bounced around a bit, but he said that it was like so not what he thought it was going to be. It was it's so intense.
I believe it.
So anyway, you go through college and then you have that experience, and your last season you played at UTSA?
Yeah, so there's actually some parallels in our story because my last year, I had 2 more years left, but the last year I played, we went to the University of Southern Miss. And I remember I had a rough year with injuries, and that was my whole college career. Injuries. I had torn labrum, pulled my hamstring. I had just a ton of injuries. But this last year that I played, I remember I pulled my hamstring in camp, and then I sprained my ankle, and then I played through that. The next week I had a high ankle sprain on the other ankle, and I couldn't play through that. So I remember coming back, and I had a good game against my alma mater at FAU. And so I was like, okay, I'm getting some momentum, whatever. And then, we go to Southern Miss. And I pray before every game. I'm a Christian through and through. I pray before every game, but it's typically in the locker room or, walking out on the field. This game in particular, I prayed with a knee on the field. I don't know if you've seen some players do that.
Yeah.
And I was very, specific in my prayer. I was like, God, show me a sign. Show me a sign here. Like, if it's football, like, it's been a tough season, but if it's football, give me a sign here in this game. If it's not, like, we'll figure it out.
Right.
But obviously trying for it to be a football thing, I'm like,
if it's football, that'd be pretty cool, guys.
Right. Yeah. So I remember, like, the first half, I get an interception. So, all right, we're doing good, right?
Were you a safety?
I was a safety.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was a safety. So I get a pick, and then we get back from halftime, and it's like the beginning of the third quarter. And I'm coming down from safety, and this running back's probably like 6'3", 240. He's a big boy. So I come down, and I hit him real good. And I messed myself up pretty bad too, though. So very similar to your story, I had a really bad concussion.
Dang.
So like a boxer, I tried to get up, and I have no memory of this. This is completely from the trainers, teammates. Yeah. Like all my boys will tell you the story of why I stopped playing football. So I try to get up, I buckle, I fall a couple of times, and then I run to their sideline.
Oh, no.
And I'm trying to call my sub, and like the crowd just goes silent, and they have to come grab me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my boy K-Rob came to grab me, and then they pull me back to our sideline. I go in the tent. They say I take off my helmet. I'm screaming, where the fuck am I at? Where the fuck am I at? And I'm just unconscious, right? So I didn't wake up until my old roommate, Leroy, my boy Leroy Watson, he came into the locker room. He's like, Save, we end up getting the W. But, dude, I was knocked out for at least 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And the trainers say, I still go back to UTSA and show love to the guys all the time now that I'm back in San Antonio. But the trainers say that's probably the worst concussion they've ever seen.
Dang.
And so, I had all these injuries, but once you start playing with my brain, I was like, okay.
So I want to tell you, like, the first thing I thought when I finally came to, apparently I'd been obviously like conscious and walking around the whole time, but the last thing I remember is stepping on the field and we're down 30, 40 points. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Like I get up, actually the pads had fallen out of my helmet. I'm like carrying my helmet off. It was so bad, man.
Yeah.
It was the highlight reel for the rest of the,
pads came out of the helmet.
Dude,
that must have
so
been a big hit.
He hit me right under the chin.
Ooh-wee.
With his helmet. And I go to the sideline and I start asking my buddy, like, are we winning? He's like, what? No, we're down. we're down a lot. And I start saying, I said, okay, well, we're playing against like the team we had played against 2 weeks ago. And he's like, no.
Oh, wow.
Like I was way out of it.
Yeah, you were way out of it.
And so then I'm just kind of pacing around. The thing was at the time, this was like 2006. The coaches like did zero. Like there's no CTE or there's no like concussion protocol.
Yeah.
At the time,
they were like,
we got a game to win. It's like, no, we're definitely gonna lose. Somebody could have taken care of me. But first thing I remember, I wake up and I'm in the car. They sent me home with my parents, and I go, who dressed me? They're like, well, they say you dressed yourself. I was like, did I take a shower? And I reach in and I have a medal because we got third or I guess fourth in state. And
this was a playoff game.
This was a semifinals game,
Oh, okay.
like state semifinals.
Gotcha.
And then I have 2 chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A. And I was like, it's like the best thing to wake up to.
Yeah.
The game was sponsored by Chick-fil-A. They gave us all this free food, and I was just like, oh, this is amazing. I got a medal, and I don't remember shit.
Right.
It's like coming to like out of the Matrix or something. But it is such a weird experience too, and it does a lot of things. I mean, they thought it shook something loose. Like all my peers at school were like, "You are different now. Like, you're like, there's something." Even for months later,
right?
People would be like, "Man, that concussion's still,
still
affecting you somehow."
I would be lying if I said I didn't feel like things changed for me a little bit after that when it came to my, cognitive, but there's obviously no proof of that.
Sure.
But I felt like I was, a little bit more, I guess, this is kind of weird to say, inquisitive, a little bit more cerebral. I don't know, but it seemed like those are the traits that I kind of gained, after that injury.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. So you
like, I've never really said that out. Like I said it to myself a lot,
right?
Because I feel like before I was just, like it just kind of opened up my mind and my perspective. And I became a lot more eager just to learn. I don't know. I don't even know how to word that.
I went on to study neurobiology because of it.
Really?
It actually affected what I chose to do because like that was my junior year and I was trying to pick like what I wanted to do, a major, and I wasn't sure, and I was like, well, the brain seems pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Your body can stay alive and you can stay a person and you have no memory of it.
Because it's such a weird feeling.
I wound up doing my entire independent study on memory, like studying the hippocampus and how it encodes memory and what we understand about it, because
that's interesting.
It was such a unique experience.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of players get concussions, of course, but they're like small micro concussions, and it builds up over time.
Yeah,
I'm almost lucky that it was just one big one. It's like, have that impact and made me make that decision to be like, well, I'm gonna go do cross country.
Well, like, I mean, even the year before, I remember I had to hit the same exact way because it wasn't like a helmet to helmet hit. It was like I hit his thigh board, and I think it was the way my neck and my spine just went so fast. I'm not sure, but I had to hit exactly like that the year before, and I was completely seeing black. I was just hoping the play didn't come to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm sure that was a mild concussion.
Wow.
This one I was completely knocked out, and it was almost an identical hit.
Yeah.
So
it was one too many.
Oh yeah, it was tough, man. That was a tough, because then ask God for a sign. It doesn't get bigger than that.
Right.
It doesn't get bigger than that.
Like, well, I got one for you. Might not survive it.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, man, I got to figure this thing out. What's next?
Yeah.
What's next?
So was that the last game of the season, or you still had to finish out the season?
Well, I was out, and then they kept asking me, hey, you coming back next year? You coming back next year? Like, we want you. Like, what are we doing? And I remember I was just like, I knew in my heart, like, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
But I just didn't tell anyone. And we had one last bowl game against Louisiana Lafayette, and I was not ready at all. Mentally, I'm sure I probably wasn't ready physically up there, right?
Yeah.
But mentally, I was like, dude, I was scared of my
Sure.
brain. But I was like, this is going to be my last rodeo. I played this game since I was 5 years old. I'm going to finish this one out with my boys. And
was
I remember
it the Fiesta Bowl or
it was the it was like a first something bowl. It wasn't Fiesta Bowl, but it was a bit first responder bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, first responder bowl. So I remember going out there, and I was like, this is really the last one. I just went out there by myself, like after we came out, and I was just crying. I was like, man, this is it. This is it.
You knew.
I knew, and I was like, honestly, I barely played that game because I hadn't practiced anything.
Yeah.
But I was glad that I didn't.
Yeah.
And I even gave my coach a hug at the end. And I was like, dude, thank you for everything. And really, I remember I was just an a-hole coming up because I was just like, I'm the best player on the team. Like, I need to get this, and that. But then, that last year just kind of made me have a perspective of like, You're not bigger than the program, right? And it's much bigger than you just being good. Like, these are going to be your boys for life.
Yeah.
Having a good attitude. You don't know what's going to happen. Coming from Iowa to a big city like San Antonio, I was like, opportunities are much more, like, they're unlimited, right? Like, I wanted to be in a big city for a reason, because I was like, if, I wanted football to work out, but if football didn't work out, I'm in a big city and I'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
I was going to bet on myself. I didn't know what it was, but I was going to bet on myself every time.
Sure.
So yeah, that was a tough time, man. And then I had a semester left at school, and I was like, okay, I got to figure out what I want to do.
What were you majoring in?
I was in finance.
Okay.
So I was always in finance. And again, my parents were super blue collar. Actually, no one in my family has ever studied finance or been in in finance whatsoever. And so it was just, I was good at math. I was always just this like math guru.
Sure.
Whether it was calculus, statistics, whatever it was, I was always just super proficient in math, and I loved it. So it was like, get into business. And then business was like, okay, get into economics. And then I remember just kind of asking around. They're like, no, you want to get into finance. So I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know anything. I'm going to go to the NFL anyway. So I was studying finance. And then I remember after school, I was like, all right, well, let's look for internships this last semester, and then I'll go into a job.
Yeah.
Well, people were offering me like I was playing, high school football again. I was getting all these offers to JP Morgan, Chase, like all these different, banks and wealth management firms offering me. And, I was like, okay, well, I guess I won't have to get an internship. I can get a job right away. So then our athletic director, Dr. Campos, we had like an exit meeting, and she was like, well, I really want you to meet one of our big donors for the university. And they put us in a group chat, and this guy I looked him up on the website, and, I'm a 21-year-old kid, tattoos head to toe. This is like a 65-year-old, like Albert Einstein looking guy. Like, I'm like, well, and he invites me to his country club over at Oak Hills.
Nice.
I don't come from that life. Yeah. I don't even know I've never set foot in a country club.
Yeah.
So I'm asking my uncle, who's in like government finance, and he's like, wear this and wear that, right? So I wear like a sweater and a collar shirt. I didn't even know what to wear. And so he invites me to his country club. I go and have this meeting with him, and he's basically just asked me what I know about finance. So I'm telling him I know this, I know that, or I don't know. And then he's asking, so who do you expect your clients to be? I was like, well, my brother plays NFL. A lot of my best friends play in the NFL, so I guess I'll just go after them. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, how does it work with the agent and the financial advisor? I said, I don't know. He's like, we got a week to find out. I was like, okay. So I put together a whole PowerPoint, and then it was like 13 NFL players that I knew. And then I put together like a little promissory note, or like a just like very non-binding agreement that I'll be their financial advisor as soon as I become licensed. And I put in like a portfolio. So I call him 6 days before. I'm like, hey, we still good for lunch? And he goes, yeah, let's do it. Right. So go to lunch, and I open up my laptop, and I have a whole PowerPoint of all these guys who would have me as their financial advisor as soon as I get licensed.
Nice.
He gave me a job offer on the spot.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you had those guys sign?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I put together this, again, non-binding agreement.
Yeah.
Where it's basically like, hey, I have Savion being my financial advisor. They didn't even, like, I wasn't going to FedEx any paperwork. Now looking back on it, probably would have been a better move.
Sure.
But I had them just like sign on their iPhone with that little feature and scan it as a PDF, whatever it was. And then I had them get it back to me, and I put them all in this little binder with this PowerPoint, explaining like, okay, this guy's been in the league for 7 years. This guy's a rookie. This, and that about this guy, how I know him. And yeah, I got that job offer on the spot.
That's bold, man. You were how old? 21, 22?
I was like 21 years old.
I mean, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
What made you take that initiative?
I don't know, man. I think it's really, my dad's just a hustler. Right. And I get that from my pops. Like, he's a true hustler. So I've always had that in me. And I think it was just like, hey, I'm getting an opportunity here. Right. Let me try to be as prepared and just like do what I can here. And I think that's what, he appreciated was that initiative I took. And like, okay, this kid's a hustler. I got to bring him on.
Well, I'll tell you, as somebody, I'm 36 and I've been in real estate 15 years, and I have a lot of people that I've coached or mentored or, even hired, fired. The number of people who would even like actually put in that amount of effort for just an opportunity, right? Like everybody's like, well, if these aren't paying me to do this work, then I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Like you went out of your way to go put together something to win. He was your first client, right? Like, so you have to go win that guy who's going to give you the job offer.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And a lot of people don't see it that way. It's like, well, what are you going to do for me? What's this job going to do for me? I'm like, hey, motherfucker, I've sold up $500 million worth of real estate. What are you going to do for me?
Exactly.
Like people don't they're like, that's what they're thinking about. What am I going to get out of it? And you're like, this is how I'm going to make a career. And that's the kind of hustle. A lot of people don't have that. And, I was talking to a guest 2 weeks ago, Logan, who's extremely successful and went from zero to, millions. And we were basically concluding like, it's almost like you either got that or you don't.
Yeah.
That's hard to teach.
100%.
So you had that at 21 years old.
Yeah.
Kind of the same mindset you applied to, getting into the NFL. You're like, I'm going to put in the work.
Exactly. It was 100% that. So although I think, again, in hindsight, looking back, I wish I would have been a little bit open-minded about college.
Sure.
Right. And my trajectory coming up. But what it did teach me is really that grind and like by getting it any means necessary. Hey, I don't have this thing figured out, but I'm going to try to find a way. Yeah. Right. And I will find a way. So.
Well, and you're using, a lot of people don't realize that their biggest leverage for anything they do in sales, whether you're doing finance or real
everything
estate or whatever, is your network. And you probably didn't ever think like, wow, this NFL network I have is going to come in handy 100%. One day.
Yeah.
You just, the light bulb.
Just my boys. We work out together. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just people but because you had that group of people who are all like focused on one thing, and you're, who you are, which is hardworking, like honest, a good friend, that gives you the benefit to go ask for the business. So you spend all that time doing it.
Some of my, I have some great clients. Some of them are guys that I grew up with in Sacramento playing together.
Really? Back in high school or
high school, even travel baseball as kids.
Wow.
That got drafted second round, signing $60-70 million contracts. Whew. Some of those guys are guys that I grew up with in Sacramento.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
You watch Ballers?
I do. I did. I love Ballers.
When it was still on? Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
So I have a funny story, right? Have you seen Billions?
Yeah, I love Billions.
Okay, so Billions is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
So when I got the job offer from this guy, again, I don't come from money whatsoever. I had a great life coming up, and my parents did a great job. But I don't come from any type of silver spoon.
Sure.
But working for this company, it's like, okay, you're going to have people with millions of dollars trusting you with their money. Like you can't just manage a little $500,000 retirement account. It's like, it's not little in relative, but you have to manage a significant amount of wealth. Right? Are you going to have people trusting you as a 21-year-old kid, curly hair, tattoos head to toe? Who's going to trust you? Right? And so that was a hard thing I was fighting with if I was going to accept that offer or not, because that wasn't my only offer. I had these other ones where I'd be getting handed down clients. Yeah. Right? Potential where I wouldn't be making as much money, but it'd be a little easy for me starting out. Yeah. So I was watching Billions, and do you remember when he had that painter? Do you remember when he had the painter, and then the painter didn't want to work with Axelrod? Right. And then he flew in the pizza from New York, and then they end up doing a handshake deal. Yeah. So I remember watching that scene. It was the very end of the episode where they shook hands, and I remember even saying out loud, it was like 1:30 in the morning. I was in my college apartment, and I was like, wow, Axelrod's talking to me and showing me the way, because I'm fighting this decision of should I do this or not? Like, who's going to trust me with their money? And then the very next episode, I don't know if you remember, but he went back to his old house in Harlem or the Bronx or whatever it was, and he was talking to a little black kid. It was the very beginning of the episode. He was talking to a little black kid. The kid was living in the same house he was growing up. Do you remember the kid's name?
Is it Savion?
It was fucking Savion, bro. It was fucking Savion. It was like fucking 1:30 in the morning. And I was like, I paused it. I'm like, I'm doing this shit. Let's go. I called my mom. She was knocked out. I'm like, Mom, I'm doing it. Let's go. Let's do it. And it was like that little thing right there. Like, it was a lot of other factors, but like, I think that was the one that sent me over and was like, I'm doing this thing.
Man, you get a lot of signs.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, do you think,
watch that episode? You're like, damn, that is.
I'm gonna
crazy.
go back. I love that show.
I love it, dude.
So
I need to
good.
watch it back.
My question is, do you think you get a lot of signs because you're looking for them, or do you think it's because you're lucky?
I think they just hit me in the face.
They just hit you.
I do think I'm a very lucky guy, though.
Yeah.
I do say, one thing I say is like, we could be playing cards, we could play any type of games. I'm like, I'm the luckiest man in the world.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of a mindset I have. And you get bad breaks, but at the end of the day, I still think I'm extremely lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always a great question, and there's a balance of both, right? Like we create our own luck through our mindset, through living with like an abundant mentality, through accepting opportunity and like thinking that the world is a big open place. And when you do that, it's amazing. Things are.
I 100% agree. That's
opportunities come to you, and when you're looking for it, I think it's so much harder to see opportunity or feel lucky when you think the world is out to get you. Absolutely. You know, or you're stingy with your love. You're stingy with your money. You're stingy with it. So like, you give it. It comes back to you.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
100%.
So tell me about, you take that job offer.
Yep.
Were you still in college at the time, or had you just?
I was
graduated?
still in college.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just getting ready to graduate.
Okay.
So I started studying for my my licenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started studying for those.
The Series 7,
65. So with an RA, you just need a 65. So I remember they just said, "Here's the book. Go ahead and pass it."
Yeah.
I actually failed that test twice.
Okay.
And then I ended up passing it the third time, but I failed it with a 70%. You needed a 72.
Damn.
I had no experience in finance. Like, I wasn't sitting in the office. Like, it was all foreign. Like,
well, we have to differentiate, because wealth management finance is completely different from finance they teach in college.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not trying to teach you how to like take care of people's money. They're trying to teach you more like accounting, or
100%.
how amortization works.
100%. Corporate finance. Like, it was completely apples and oranges.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I go and pass that. And then it was just hitting the ground running. I start, getting clients, calling people I knew, making connections. And then, I started seeing some success. And then really a turning point was the company ended up getting acquired by a publicly traded company. And the reason for that was they didn't really have a succession plan in place. And so they were getting older. Like I said, he looked a little bit like Albert Einstein. Yeah. And he really took me under his wing. He's a great man.
You're saying a wealth management company didn't have a succession plan? What the hell?
Yeah, well, I guess they didn't want to give it to the kids. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
So they were looking for buyers.
It happens. Yeah, it's very, very common. And in today's world, it's crazy, because I mentioned I do business brokerage. Yeah. But most kids don't want to touch their parents' business anymore. Yeah. There's very few that want to take over what their dad built.
Well, it's such a sensitive topic, handling people's money. Like, sure. So I guess I don't want to say they didn't build the respect to be able to run the practice, but they were just like, let's see who's going to bite here. And they were just getting huge valuations. And really before that, I couldn't even tell you what M&A stood for.
Right.
So merger and acquisitions was completely different. But throughout that process, they gave me a seat at the table. The reason they gave me a seat at the table is because I was 3 generations above, kind of that executive team office. And I had a sexy piece of the business because I was dealing with a lot of athletes. Yeah. So
so at this company, they let you keep your business. You had equity in the total AUM?
No, I did not.
Okay.
They just gave me a seat at the table in the sense of like the prospective buyers. I was able to see what those conversations were and sit in on those conversations. Yeah. The only thing I did in those meetings was say, hey, my name's Savion. I do XYZ, and these are my clients. Yeah. That was it.
But did you ever think the risk was that you would lose those clients you built through an acquisition?
Not so much. And my practice wasn't really that big yet, because that was maybe a year and a half, 2 years in.
Oh, wow. Really early.
Yeah, it was super early. But really just kind of going through that. I even met like our investment bankers. they were a little impressed with me. I don't know why. Maybe it was the smile. I don't know what it was, but they were actually wanting me to go to like one of those M7 MBA programs.
Oh wow.
So he was a Harvard Law guy, and he was, he got me in touch with different people to get me in school at Harvard for business school. But then I was looking to see how much it was costing, and then like even help getting into it was like $20,000, and I'm like, I can't afford this, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been great, but I was like, let me just continue to keep growing my practice.
Yeah.
And so anyways, we got acquired by this company, and it just became a huge bureaucracy. And I joined the business, right, because I'm a huge proponent of meritocracy. If I hit it out of the park, it's one of the reasons I joined this company. If I hit it out the park, I want to be compensated for it.
Yeah.
I don't really just want to be, a little bit more here, a little bit more here, great benefits. Like I'm going to bet on myself now and roll the dice on myself now while I can, right? Because when you're married, you got kids, you got all this stuff. I kind of understand. I've seen my parents, like that's not the time to really, risk it for the biscuit.
Right.
Like, so I've always had that mindset of like, I'm going to risk this on myself and bet on myself now. And that's kind of when I started looking. And
that's also, I'm just going to compliment you, man, because you keep saying things that are like well ahead of your time. And so I'm sure you have some awesome parents if that's the case.
Oh yeah.
Like
100%.
you have to have been brought up in a way to like compose yourself that way, because a lot of kids in your situation, they don't put in that kind of effort, but they also don't take ownership of their own journey, of their path.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people who come into even real estate, for instance, and they're attracted to it because of the money that's in it.
Yep.
But they don't want to like take the ownership of their own business. They want somebody else to hand it to them, or they want somebody else to like hold their hand all the way. You're like, this is mine. I'm responsible for it. I'm gonna carry this on with me, and I'm gonna put in the effort now. Whereas again, a lot of people in their 20s are like, I'm gonna fuck off now because it doesn't matter. I don't have responsibilities. I can do whatever I want.
Yep.
I'm gonna go get drunk. I'm gonna go party. I'm gonna stay out late. And like then they wake up at 30 and they don't have shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, God, now I have to start.
100%. 100%.
And you had foresight though at 20 something years old to kind of like see that.
Yeah, 100%. Like it was, and then it was just kind of surrounding myself with those type of people, right?
Yeah.
So like when I got out of school, all my friends stayed and continued playing football. Mm-hmm. So I was in San Antonio by myself. I had to figure out like, who are my friends? What am I going to do? So I joined the Dominion Country Club and met some of my best friends there.
Yeah.
And they, again, like they just took me under their wing, all, fairly successful and doing great things in their life, and admired them in all different ways, either how they were as a father, husband, business owner, or even all the above. Right. So just seeing them and being around them really helped me in my career path as well, and really just motivated me. That being said, once it became a huge bureaucracy and I was like, this may be a little bit too conservative for me. That's when I went off and became a partner at this company over here in Connecticut.
Nice.
And so when that happened, I joined a guy who played in the NFL for a long time, and the goal was like, okay, let's go after these athletes. Let's continue to grow the practice. And so, it really went great. I got to see the Northeast, and that's where I fell in love with New York City. Being in Stamford, I was about 30 minutes outside the city.
Nice.
So, it was a great time in my life. And again, New York City I thought was amazing. And it was a time to really just, I literally just picked up my life and left and went to Connecticut. I was a walk to the office, and I just immersed myself in work.
Yeah.
Just grind. And I was like, the time again to risk it and put in these hours is now.
Yeah.
And so I took my whole life from San Antonio, Florida, and then I went to Connecticut, where I knew no one besides the partners at the company, and I was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And it was much more expensive, but honestly, it was great, and I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you lived there last year, you said?
Yep. I was there for a year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you still with them, or have you guys?
Yeah. So actually, it was a year end. Things were going great. And then I got another opportunity. So I was a partner up there, and then I got another opportunity where I was approached by someone I've known for a long time, where he has his own practice, and he went on his own from Morgan Stanley not too long ago, where he was backed by private equity. So then this private equity group came and approached me and offered to buy a piece of my practice.
Okay.
And so that was also a challenging point of my career because everything you put down on a contract, I think contractually, was a huge learning lessons, and I saw the importance of having a really good lawyer.
Yeah.
It's just there's rules when you sign these employment contracts, and it's a lot different from being an employee to a business owner. Right. So that was a challenging time in making the transition, which also the first transition from the publicly traded company into being a partner was a huge one. But this one as well. And so, yeah, private equity ultimately acquired a piece of my practice. And then I full on kind of went on my own with, by myself in my practice. And it's been great.
So you have your own company now?
So I have my own company now.
What's it called?
Concurrent Private Wealth.
Cool.
Yeah. So
what do you focus on?
Yeah. So for my practice, I, again, started working with a lot of athletes. And then I started working with just kind of self-made entrepreneurs. And I think that came about just because we were able to relate. We were able to relate in the sense of like, hey, we could sit down and hang out, but we also relate with the ambition, and their stories was very similar to my story. And then obviously when you're good at your job, I guess that's when people are able to trust you.
Yeah.
And so, it just started working on entrepreneurs, and then it even propelled even more once I started my own practice, and now I could speak the same language as these other business owners.
So what is the biggest difference between like being an employee and running your own business?
Yeah, so there's quite a few, right? There's a little bit more day-to-day things you have to worry about, right? Because at the end of the day, it stops with you.
Yeah.
And then, I'm traveling to see clients all the time. I'm on the road maybe once a week, if not twice a week.
Yeah.
And so everything now falls on your own dollar, as opposed to you're spending $6,000, $7,000, whatever it was a month, a week, or whatever, and you're getting reimbursed by your company.
Right.
All right. Now it's all on your own dollar. So maybe instead of buying that first class ticket, I'm probably going to sit back here in comfort or economy, and might make the connection as opposed to, you know what I mean? So I'm just looking at things like that. But again, getting your personal finances in order along with now your company finances in order. I would say that's the biggest difference. But even that relatability with clients, I think, has helped me a lot.
Yeah. So now you're doing it for yourself. It's easier to advise them.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I can now relate with how I do my, stuff with myself with my clients.
Sure. Well, what would you say is, the biggest challenge in wealth management space right now? What would you see like coming down the line for the next year? I think everybody's kind of talking about the same issues with online brokerages, people managing their own money, people doing it themselves, or AI even tools out there investing for people. So what's the challenge in your business right now?
I really love the conversation of AI.
Yeah.
So how I see AI as a tool and not a threat, although AI can be a threat.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as a threat in my practice because I think it's that personal touch and really understanding the client situation is something AI can't really do. AI can really be seen as like a yes man a lot.
Yeah.
But just kind of reasoning like, hey, dude, this is the most important thing for you, right? Or, putting your estate plan and taking care of your kids is the most important thing. So investing clients' money is probably one of the least important things, right? If I'm being honest, really, I tell my clients all the time, singles and doubles. Yeah. You're already rich. I'm not going to make you rich. I'm not going to try to time the markets on a Tuesday, try to invest in Tesla and just make you're already rich. Yeah. Right. My job is to protect your wealth and to grow your wealth. Right. Yeah. So I'm not trying to hit any home runs. Singles and doubles when it comes to investing. The more important stuff comes when we talk about planning. Right. Because most people don't even have a simple umbrella policy. Yeah. Right. So looking at everything from A to Z, or most people don't have an estate plan. Like you've worked your whole life to build up this extremely successful business or career in the NFL. Yeah. Your balance sheet is upwards of $30 million. And you have nothing or zero terms on how that's going to be passed down to your kin. Right. Right. So putting that in place is the single most important thing. You're going to have your family selling assets just to be able to receive all this hard work that you're passing down to them.
Yeah. Man, I just had a meeting yesterday. I was looking at this old, crusty industrial building on the south side that has like it's an environmental disaster. I'm thinking about buying it just for fun, but
Yeah.
the guy that I was meeting with, his dad owned it, had run this company there for a long time, and they were talking about him as like a business owner, and he had basically come up from nothing. He had like been just another guy on the factory line, then made it to a manager, and then got equity, and then the guy that owned the company died, so he became the owner, and then all of a sudden he was making a ton of money. And by the time he died, like, he was very secretive about where his money was, because the only advice he ever got was, hey, watch your money, don't talk about it, because somebody's going to try to take it from you, right?
Yeah.
And the guy said, when he died, we found all of his bank accounts, because we're doing this, estate planning stuff, and he had like $5 million in cash and all these properties all over the place. And I was like, did he invest in anything? He's like, no, he just kept cash in the bank. I was like, $5 million in the bank?
It's crazy.
You're nuts, man.
Yeah, no, that is nuts.
So he needed a guy like you.
Yeah. So, but it's hard, right? Especially like you're self-made, you're first generation. Athletes or business owners, whatever it is, you're first generation when it comes to this.
Sure.
So you didn't get passed down, you didn't have a trust in place from your parents.
Yeah.
You're the first ones to start this. You're first generation. So
You have a lot to learn.
yeah, so this is what a trust is, right?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, like, the best thing about my business is really earning that trust from my clients, right? From people like, hey, listen, just got this bonus, or we're doing this, or how should I do this? Really being that person of it, to give them advice, that person of influence, to really ask, what do I do with my money? How do I take care of my family?
Yeah.
Because that's my whole job. It's not, I'm going to make you a gazillion bucks. It's like, I'm going to help you take care of your family.
Yeah.
Even when I'm talking to a 21-year-old guy who's going to get drafted in the first round, my conversations aren't, I'm going to make you a shit ton of money. My conversations are more, how can I help you take care of your family?
Right. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. So you become much more integrated in that respect. You're not just the guy that is, hey, what should I invest in? It's how should I let me focus on the thing that I do best, and let's have somebody who's an expert handle pretty much everything else, right?
Absolutely.
Like financially speaking.
Yeah.
Well, that's and you get to know them, I'm sure, really well. You must have very close personal relationships.
100%. 100%.
And it's ongoing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. I hadn't really thought about that, actually. I'm, knowing a lot of wealth management people, but I think at that level that you're at, that you have to be like very closely involved.
Yeah.
And, in my business, we do transactions with people every like 5 to 7 years. And so we're not really like necessarily doing asset management or managing that. So it's a little different how I see the arc of the relationship, and then how long you have to wait till there's like business to do again. So I think that for you, having a small group of high net worth individuals that you can like really stay focused on is probably a big part of your business plan.
Yeah, 100%, man. And my relationships are in perpetuity. So I tell them, and I'm a young guy, right? I'm 27, so I'm working with, my oldest client is probably not even 50 years old, right? But everyone I'm working with has a significant amount of wealth. Yeah. So I tell these guys, like, I'm going to be with you until you're off the rocker, right? I'm not retiring in 5 years. Like, again, we're working in perpetuity. So whether we're the same age or you're 20 years older, I want to meet my clients' kids. I start getting them involved when we start doing clients' estate plans, whoever that trustee is. I say they should probably be in meetings once a month with a sister, son, brother, whatever it may be, right? So to your point, relationships are very intimate. Yeah. Right. I'm going to see clients all the time. Right. If there's conversation, we're always going back to the board and saying, hey, listen, this is where we're at 4 months ago. This is where we're at now. Yeah. Right. So like, it's not bring them in and forget. Right. And it's scale. Right. I have to be, again, being a business owner, you have to be able to understand your time. Yeah. But still, having that relationship with the client and service makes it.
I got a question for you, because these guys live really high net worth and probably live some crazy lifestyles. What's the biggest bar tab you've ever had to pick up?
Biggest bar tab? I wouldn't say I don't typically. I try to avoid going out I try to avoid going out to the clubs.
Okay, so the Ballers like HBO series, it's all full of shit.
Well, so I try to avoid going to the clubs because that's where the tab can really get ran up.
Yeah,
Like,
you guys have fun.
and if I'll say I have fun, like, no, come on. Like, I maybe pick up a bottle here and there.
Yeah.
But like I've seen guys run up like $20,000-$30,000 tabs, just in the club on a Friday night in Miami. So I don't participate in that. I'm not playing that game.
Yeah.
But like, it's very common for me to go on like $1,000-$1,500 dinner.
Sure.
But outside of that, I'm not hanging out too much at the clubs.
Yeah. No, you got to look responsible too.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No,
Like,
100%.
I'm buttoned up.
Yeah, I'm not really trying to do the whole club thing.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I can have a good time, but that's I don't want to know what you're doing over there. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, hey, what are you doing?
If you're calling my office,
I know exactly how much money you have.
Yeah, you're calling my office and you're like, I need, $20K for this or whatever. And it's like, all right, I know, and that's another thing too. Like, there's a misconception with, the people I work with. It's like, buy nice things, enjoy your lifestyle.
Sure.
You're young, like, enjoy your lifestyle. Let's just put a plan together. I buy nice shit.
Sure.
Right. But if you buy the $15,000 watch, like, let's just make sure we get insurance on it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so it's not like, don't do this, don't do that. Fucking penny pinching, right? You're making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I'd be stupid to penny pinch you. Right.
Yeah.
But when habits get out of control, right, that's just where it's like, hey, we need to go to the plan. So it's not how much you can spend. It's more how much do you want to save?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of where we start when it comes to cash flow. So, working with athletes can become very interesting because, their peers and the people next to them in the locker room are riding around in Lamborghini trucks.
Uh-huh.
So it's very easy to get into the NFL and say, I want a Lamborghini truck, right?
Yeah.
And you can afford it. You could buy it, right? But let's just wait and, maybe let's buy the house first or whatever it may be. So you would imagine probably some of the interesting stories I've had.
Yeah, you probably can't share them. No, I think actually the most interesting stories are the people who like make the crazy money and still drive the same Chevy Cruze.
Oh yeah,
live in a normal house.
Yeah.
Who was it? It was the big guy from the Texans. Oh my God, what was his name? Lineman. Anyway, he signed a $70 million contract. Still lived in like a $400,000 house. Yeah. Still drove the little car for a while. I think he probably, after a few years, you're like,
sometimes
all right,
it's
I
like,
got enough.
All right, shit's breaking down. You should probably get like a nicer car. Like, I shouldn't be driving a more expensive car.
Yeah.
So,
well, hey man, if those guys ever need to write off some income taxes, I got some real estate strategies.
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole bunch of guys in San Antonio. I have to get you connected.
Yeah, we do similarly, like, because I work with a lot of funds. We do management on syndications. We do some things, but there's a lot of stuff people don't realize. When you invest in real estate, you can almost take 100% of the tax deduction in the first year.
Yeah.
So like people who have a ton of money, they write off their entire tax liability by buying a multifamily property. That's a real thing. Yeah. We have guys that do syndications where, let's say a property's $20 million, you put 20% down, so $4 million. You can actually write off close to $15 million of that asset, that purchase first year. It's a bonus depreciation. Yeah. And it's cost segregation. But yeah, so when people have really big liquidity events or really big paychecks come in and they don't want to spend all that on taxes, we have people get checks back from the IRS after making $5 million in a year. Yeah, they get a check back for income tax. Insane. So like there are some strategies out there that I think real estate has its niches for that. It's not always beating the stock market. It's hard to convince a stock market guy like real estate's a better investment.
Different asset classes.
Totally different asset classes, totally different structures. But we probably have people that could benefit from both.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah. Man, it's been really fun talking to you. You do have Nolan was right. You got a great story.
I appreciate it, man.
And I'm glad you're back in San Antonio. Yeah. We're definitely gonna hang out.
We definitely need to hang out.
Go to a Birds game.
Yeah. I had a good time at dinner the other night.
That was fun. Yeah. Capitol Grill, not bad.
Dude,
Shout out.
Fries.
Not a sponsor of this episode, but Capital Grill, if you went in on the next one, we actually went there for that hamburger lunch, like glass of wine and a Wagyu burger for like 30
Oh, did you?
bucks. I went there last week.
Yeah.
It was a fire burger.
Dude, that's what I had that night. The burger was delicious.
Amazing.
Well, because I had dinner at Capital Grill, I mean, like 2 nights before that. And I
Yeah.
had steak, so I was like kind of staked
Yeah.
out. And I was eyeing that burger.
Yeah.
Once I had it, it was amazing.
It's a good burger. And the steak I had was phenomenal too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's do it.
Dude, for sure. Appreciate you having me on, bro.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
and,
this is great.
Tune in next week. We'll see who pops up, who I meet this week at dinner. Maybe it's one of your athlete friends wants to come on. We can get all your NFL players in here. We'll have a podcast of 20 guys.
So when my guys come visit me all the time. When they do, we'll have to hang out and see if you guys want to make something work.
That would be awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.